please remember to leave a like, a comment, share the video about, and if you haven't already, subscribe. Thank you. Well, isn't this just fantastic? Captain's Log, Supplemental. As always, we are kept busy here by idiots that believe themselves above the law. It's a running joke here at the Halls of Injustice. It gets more amusing though when some are here because their own families bring them to us. We throw parties when that happens. Welcome everyone to the Halls of Injustice. Today we welcome inmate number 162 to the ISO cubes. Inmate number 162 is going to be with us for a very long time, and inmate number 162 is really freaking young. Inmate number 162 got grassed on by their own family and committed a crime so heinous they don't deserve to leave a prison or an ISO cube like one of these. Inmate number 162's name is Joshua Delbono, a surname that will seem a smidge ironic given enough time in the ISO cubes. And no, we're not going to stop it. For this video, we're going to tell you a bit about inmate number 162, then go through the crime they committed. I'm not entirely convinced we need to talk too much about the law itself, but I can certainly highlight what sentencing guidelines would indicate before we move to the trial and sentence of Joshua Delbono. So let us begin, as we often do, with who is inmate number 162, aka Joshua Delbono. Joshua Delbono is a 19-year-old from Frome in Bristol. He, before he was sent to the ISO cubes, lived at home with his mother, Donna Delbono. Okay, this was quite short. His age does not help. No employment history, no indication of his community activities. Let's just go to the crime and hope for the best, folks, or this video is going to be remarkably short. The crimes committed by Joshua Delbono took place on Sunday the 31st of July 2022 when he was still 18 years old, and took place in a town called Radstock. The victim's name is Charlie Bates, a 16-year-old, 2 months away from turning 17. Joshua Delbono took one of those sharp-pointed devices, and repeatedly stabbed Charlie Bates to his chest and arms. Within 30 minutes of this happening, Charlie Bates was pronounced dead. So already we know the charge is going to be murder. Joshua Delbono then fled the scene and headed to Shearwater Lake, where he then burned his clothes that he had been wearing during the attack. This was later confirmed to have been done because mobile phone footage caught him doing it. Joshua also discarded of the knife by throwing it into the Shearwater Lake. Charlie Bates and Joshua Delbono were not the only people there though. Charlie at the time was with a group of 6 friends. At around 6:30 PM, 2 cars, one driven by Delbono, arrived in the car park. There were bad feelings between Charlie Bates and one of Delbono's group. After an exchange of insults, then things escalated into a fight. This is when Joshua Delbono, armed with that 5-inch knife, did what he did. Delbono left the scene shouting, "Don't mess with us again." Tough guy, right, for a neckbeard. And the mobile phone footage of the burning of clothes was filmed by one of the people within Delbono's group. 6 hours after the incident took place, Joshua Delbono went home, and this is where Joshua Delbono's mother, Donna, factors in. And I'm going to play the audio of what she said, because we've got that.
Police emergency, what's your location?
Hi, I'm in Frome.
Okay, what's happening?
My son's killed someone.
Okay, alright, okay. Can you tell me where?
It was at Radstock earlier. He's just come back. I've just found out he's in my house now, but I can't let him go anywhere.
Does he know you're on the phone?
Yeah, he's here.
When you injured that guy in the red top, what happened to the knife?
The knife? I chucked it straight away.
You chucked it?
Yeah.
Where did you chuck it?
We were literally just in the thing, and in the moment I just launched it. So it could be under a car, it could be on the floor.
She then handed the phone to her son, who said, "I don't know anything about him," the victim Charlie Bates, "at all. I went in to help my mate. I thought, I'm not getting stabbed." Shortly after, the police arrested Joshua Delbono on suspicion of murder. Now before we get to the trial, I just want to quickly say, there's a level of stupid involved here that you only really get from the young, who think themselves indestructible, who think themselves above accountability, who think themselves tough because they have a blade, tough because they have a weapon in their hand, tough because they can say things behind the safety of a door to a car, who think that her tough guy persona is all that matters. How tragic is that? Because with the sentence that Joshua Delbono will receive and serve minimum, will it be worth it when he has none of those friends left afterwards? So I guess with this we should now go to the trial, along with discussing the law as well before the sentence of inmate 162 Joshua Delbono. When Delbono was taken in by the police, he made no comment to police questions, but later admitted to stabbing somebody. In a prepared statement he had said, "I thought my friend was being stabbed, this caused me to react." He followed up by saying that he knew the person he had bought the vehicle from had left the knife inside, but that did not mean that he had intended to cause Charlie serious harm. Quote, "I didn't realize he was hurt. It was a chance encounter. I'm truly devastated Charlie was fatally injured. It was never my intention." The court had also heard, though, that Charlie Bates was equally prepared to fight, as he had taken a knife with him in a bag which also had a BB gun to the car park. This bag went missing after the attack, but was later recovered in the woodland nearby by the police. Charlie's friends, though, said that he was not armed during the fight. The court was told that the incident lasted less than 5 minutes, and that following the killing, Delbono did drive to Shearwater Lake near Warminster in Wiltshire, for those who don't know, where he then threw the knife and burnt his clothes. In a victim impact statement, Charlie's mother Helen said that she was utterly heartbroken. She described running to the car park hoping to get there before Charlie had passed away, quoted as saying, "Arriving at the scene there was a complete lack of activity. The silence told me all I needed to know. I was too late and he was gone. I have tried hard to take solace from Charlie Boy's death by hoping he will be the last to be taken by knife crime, but that is not so. It would seem that my son Charlie died for nothing. So many pointless, senseless deaths. Such a tragic waste of lives." The trial itself lasted 2 weeks. Adam, unpronounceable last name KC, had said a little after 6:30 PM 2 cars drove into the car park together. Skipping to the next paragraph, it seems Charlie knew at least one of the 2 men in the first car. There had been some history of bad feeling between them. Charlie went to speak to them, and talking turned into a fight as the driver of the first car got out. It started as a one-on-one fist fight, but then escalated. The passenger got out, and so did one of 2 of Charlie's friends. Up to this point, Delbono had not intervened. Eventually, he did, with unpronounceable Adam saying, at some point in the fight, the defendant got out of the second car, had a knife, walked over, stabbed Charlie several times, including in the chest. By the way, the genius recording, a part of Delbono's gang, was his girlfriend. She thought it was a good idea to film and take photos. That Instagram clout, am I right, everyone? The prosecutor then went on to say he said he got out of his car to intervene in the fight between his friend and Charlie, and said he had instinctively taken the knife with him. He said he had seen one of Charlie's friends with a knife in his waistband and worried he might use it to stab his friend. A post-mortem examination found Charlie died of a stab wound to the front of his chest that caused massive bleeding, while a second knife injury to the back of his left forearm was described as a possible defensive wound. While there was no CCTV footage in the area, footage of the movement of both groups before and after the stabbings were played to the jury, so that they can best see where the groups were going and where they headed afterwards, mostly to prove they were also there at the time. At the end of a 2-week trial, Joshua Delbono, inmate number 162, was found guilty of murder. With that, we're going to go to the sentence. FYI, if you are found guilty of the crime of murder, the minimum sentence is life. 25 years, bare minimum. Just thought I'd share that. Speaking after the case, DCI Mark Almond had said that our thoughts and sympathies remain with Charlie's family, who experienced unimaginable pain over the past 9 months. Charlie had his whole life ahead of him, and it was cut short by Joshua Delbono. The vigil held in his memory in Radstock in the days after this senseless tragedy highlights how his death affected the community. Such incidents are thankfully rare in Radstock, but the devastating consequences knife crime has on families is clear for all to see. Interesting to note, where that had taken place, 3 car park spaces where it actually happened are still cordoned off as a mark of respect. Joshua Delbono, inmate number 162, was sentenced to life in prison with a minimum tariff of 21 years. When passing the sentence, Judge William Hart said that what started out as a normal fist fight ended with a young boy with his whole life ahead lying dead on the ground. He told Joshua Delbono you took the knife from the car intending to use it as you did, not to warn people off. The judge also issued a warning about the dangers and tragedy of young people carrying knives, adding, "Let me say to all who hear my remarks of the damage that is caused by carrying knives. You may rob a person of their life. What happened that day cast a horrible shadow over everyone." And let's face it here, this is a 100% pointless crime, solely done by one individual who wanted to appear superior to another, by taking it to an extreme thinking that that was a valid excuse to use such a pointless weapon. A pointless attack escalated by mere words alone, showing how truly immature you are, that your resolution to a situation is to resort to violence. While Charlie Bates no longer gets to be here, you don't get to experience what it's like here either. You get to experience a very different kind of life, one that will change every facet of your being. By the time you leave prison, you will be at least 40 years old. You would have lost every golden year, which will never truly account for all the years lost by Charlie Bates. All because of words, and it was with intent. Make no mistake about it. What Joshua Delbono did was done with intent. The discussion about knife crime is a fascinating one truly. It's on the rise, not much is done to resolve it, it's never really going to turn around. But to see what people can do to try and fix it, I'm intrigued. It's a real shame though, that innocent lives have to pay before somebody can fix the problem.